Vasudevaya. Yeah. I've been meditating these days about the position of the World Vaishnava Association, about the vision Srila Jiva Goswami must have had, because the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha existed in Vrindavan when these 6 Goswamis already started independent missions of each other. Even at that time, when there was everybody in a teeny little village, still they had the Radha Madan Mohan temple, then the Radha Gopinath Mandir, then Radha Damodar Mandir, then Radha Shyam Sundar Mandir, then temple of Gadada Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, then the temple of Lokanath Goswami, then the temple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And they were all temples with full puja and full little group of devotees. So that society, Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, that was fully developed at that time. Can you imagine what was their vision? Who they knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had announced that this mission would touch every village of the world. So I was meditating about this. And I was also meditating about the fundament. What is giving any temple, any Vaishnava temple, the right to act, to preach? What is their backing, their support? And that is the greater majority of our movement. Let's analyze it. First of all, the Holy Scriptures, Vedas. Above all, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Later on, of course, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And I'm just mentioning 3 books, but there's such a vast amount of literature which was created. So all this is the basis on what we are teaching Bhagavad Dharma. Bhagavad Dharma is not born on our mind on some fictional history. Number 2, everything which is given to us by the presence of the Holy Dham. You see, we learn that Vrindavan, Mayapur, and Jagannath Puri are holy places of this particular nature, that they can grant bhakti to a person. That serving Radharani in these places will situate you in a very wonderful relationship with the Supreme. Therefore, we call him Vrindavan Dham, Mayapur Dham, Kshetra Dham. So, this is also something which is existing by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we have Mayada Purushottama, Sri Ram, and the Ramayana and all that. Another gift, or what you may call fundament. Then we have Lila Purushottama. Lila Purushottama Sri Krishna, specially glorified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hey! That Lila Purushottama is Prabhu. Silence. Lila Purushottama is the real nectar of the Krishna conscious philosophy. Krishna is inviting everybody to his Rasa Lila dance in Vrindavan to become his eternal associate. And then comes Prema Purushottama, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who expands the Krishna Lila by giving order to go out to every town and village in the world. And asking everybody to participate. So if you look at that, of course, then we also have the support of all the avatars. Nishinga, Bhagavan, Varaha, Deva, all the beautiful descriptions in how God interacts with humanity. The Parampara, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. This comes all the way down from Brahma and Lakshmi and Kumaras and Lord Shiva, the Char Sampradayas. Then we have the Alvars, the South Indian sages, saints and gurus. So you see all this, what I'm just speaking about, this is above the head of any acharya, of any teacher. Whether it's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, or anybody who teaches Krishna consciousness. This is above us. What is this? This is descending truth. Mercy descending upon us. But without the connection of service to a guru and getting connected through devotional service, this doesn't create a big impact. Like I know people, they know everything we know here, they studied Indology. But they have no connection of service, nor do they really consider that, is revealed truth. They consider that historical elements, mythology they call it. Mythology. So if we consider like that, what is above the Vishva Vaishnava Rajshava? This is an amazing substance of Vedic truth, plus the Virata Rupa. Plus the Virata Rupa, the universal form, which, as we are getting more information about our universe, it blows our mind more and more and more and more and more, and we're becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. when you consider the universal situation, and then you consider that the creator of all that decided to appear in Vrindavan, then you say, wow, that is very special. Of course, there's also information which says that Krishna has as many incarnations as there's waves on the ocean. Well, that means Krishna is appearing in all these universes, in all these galaxies. Everywhere Krishna Lila must be taking place in one way or another. So, our faith in God can become strong simply by seeing the infinite of the universe, of the creation. But then, by Sri Guru Parampara, we get introduced into the devotional service. So here, the Vaishnava Rajsabha takes a new feature. Now it's becoming a parivar. Now it's becoming a guru and his disciples. Prabhupada and his disciples, Madhava Maharaj and his disciples, and so many others and their disciples. A parivar means that it becomes the transcendental philosophy applied to a certain region, to a certain structure. Like in India, they solved this in the past like this, that when they had a property, they put the property in the name of the deities. And those who worship the deities, they're the sevais. They're not the owners. You cannot sell the temple, but you can serve the deity. Anyhow, that system is also not perfect. It also has its flaws. In a similar way, the institutions also have flaws. Nevertheless, for the sake of organizing practical missionary aspects, every mission has some legal registration, either as a foundation or as a religious organization or as a non-profit society, whatever, some type of registration. That time, all this incredible Vedic knowledge becomes represented by one little parivar, by one little school. But moment, apparently by one school, because it is represented by all schools who are teaching the truth. So from the very beginning, we have to understand Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, because wherever the truth is taught, that is our family. Just like you may have first degree family, second degree family, third degree family, but family is family. And all the human race, we are also some kind of a family. We all belong to the human race, but as far as our faith is concerned, we are connected to each other by the Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma faith. And the Sanatan Dharma, Bhagavata Dharma faith is not the property of anybody. Neither for practice nor for interpretation. This is the privilege which is given to these humble servants who want to continue what their guru has taught to them. Those humble servants, they get the right, by divine arrangement. What is that divine arrangement? There's different types of divine arrangements. It may have been a dream. Srila Bhakti Rakshita Maharaj, my son's guru and Shiksha, after his guru left the world, he did not start initiating people, even though some others already had done so. Then one time he went to Eka Chakra and he prayed to Lord Nityananda for mercy. And in the night, Lord Nityananda appeared to him in a dream and said, "Why should I give mercy to you? You're not giving mercy to anyone." After that appearance in his dream, he changed his mind and says, "Okay, I have to make a mission also." Then he started Sri Chaitanya Saraswati. So, if any of the missions somehow or other get the idea that they have the unique and exclusive rights to represent the divine fundaments of Vedic knowledge, that is actually inappropriate. That is not acceptable. It is some kind of ego confusion. Because all the rights are reserved by the author, by Sri Krishna himself. He knows very well what he is doing, and he has empowered his devotees in different times, in different places, to different degrees. And we were initiated in this mission. Like, take my own situation. I was in Colombia. Prabhupada had left the world, and I was trying to cooperate with Prabhupada's movement for many years. But I could finally see that the disciples were not given any kind of proper attention. The real relationship, this loving relationship, guru-disciple, had disappeared under an ecclesiastic institutional structure. You get initiated, you get like a stamp, and now you are gone, but nobody knows you. And that was not what Krishna consciousness was all about. So at that time, instead of running away and say this doesn't work, I had to request Srila Harijan Maharaj to take that position, because I knew he had that faith and that devotion and understanding to represent our Gurudev Srila Prabhupada. And finally he accepted that request, asking me to also accompany him in this duty of initiating new devotees. So who are we? Who are we to say that we are going to represent the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Guru Parampara? Who are we? Of course, you can always be a humble servant. Nobody will argue with you if you want to be a humble servant. But to claim that my mission is the only mission, or is the best mission, that you know it better than anybody else, that is not appropriate. Therefore, the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha of Jiva Goswami is the protection to all those who are spreading Krishna consciousness. To maintain one's sanity, to not fall into sectarianism, to not fall into fanaticism, and to maintain this loving devotional attitude. A loving devotional attitude, which keeps Krishna consciousness alive. Without a loving attitude, without a loving relationship, Krishna consciousness is not going to spread. When there's politics, calculation, fruitive interests, then devotion cannot flourish. There's no question. Devotion cannot flourish under such circumstances. Therefore, the parivar, the Guru family, is so important. For the disciple, it is the all important. And that's where the danger comes in for the disciple to think, my Guru Varga is the only real and most important thing. Everything else of anybody else is secondary or less than what I have. It's another ego expansion. If I say, it's a funny way of saying, actually it's not very funny, no? To think that, like, my country is the most beautiful country, and of my country, there's one city where I was born, this is the most beautiful city, and in my city there's one house which is the most beautiful where I was living, and in my house there's one is the most beautiful person, that's me. So this I, me, mine, that is a common disease in this world. If we apply that to our devotional mission, it's still a disease. I, me, mine vision is not advanced. It is like very kanishta, that I cannot see anything except what I'm doing and thinking. I cannot understand any other devotees. I cannot understand Krishna's plan. So, Jiva Goswami, he knew everything. He knew what the future is going to be. So he put it pretty clear. And what is the most important thing is, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he spelled it out in the mandalis to have concrete elements of common interest. If you have one day 100 disciples or 1,000 disciples, still you have to ask, what is our common interest? You'll have your interest to make sure your temple is working and everything. Every temple, every institution has their localized interests and needs. That's wonderful. That's not material. It's transcendental. But there's common interest. And those common interests, they should be given some attention. I'm the secretary for the environmental considerations for the Vaishnava Association. And people don't like me very much because I'm always saying, why are you using these plastic plates in your bandanas? 1,000 plates going out the door. Where do they go? You just throw them out. You don't know where they're going. Or the microplastic, which is in our food and everywhere, is our own fault. So as Vaishnavas, we are supposed to be the guide, the teachers. Now we know this thing. We know about microplastics. We know about this. So, and we have the solution, which means leaf plates, banana plates, or metal plates. I know people don't like it when I say it because they have those plastic plates because they're a little cheaper. Even they're not very cheaper. It's just It's just an illusion. Anyhow, this is a common interest. It's a common interest that people become vegetarian also. Because if less violence is done to the animal, less bad karma will come upon us, the human beings. So we are also interested in helping people to understand the importance of vegetarianism. In our preaching, we make the people aware about karma and reincarnation. What danger is there if they are not utilizing this human form of life for self-realization? So this is entirely happening within the Guru Varga in the Parivar. And that loving Parivar is the life and soul for our life. But we can see that when the Parivar is growing, and especially after the Guru leaves the world, then it's absolutely necessary for new Parivars to form, where the personal loving and energy and relationship of Guru-disciple is again available. Otherwise, why we not initiate everybody in the name of Rupa Goswami or in the name of Narada Muni? If that could be possible, some people say we can initiate somebody in the name of Prabhupada. This is not exactly possible, but they are right. We are all the children of Prabhupada. And anybody who initiates after Srila Prabhupada, he will always say, this is done by Prabhupada. You are also connected to Prabhupada. He will always say that. If they don't say it, that's their deficiency. Because only by divine grace, the descending truth comes into the Parivar. It is a descending process, it's not an ascending process. You're not going up by your own power to go to Krishna consciousness. Everything is just by the mercy as it descends. So therefore, considering the need of the Parivar and the need of the Vishma Vaishnava Rajshava as the general concept, where we all belong to the larger family, we have a very good prospect of teaching to others what was the vision of Jiva Goswami. And in this way, increase the participation and the enthusiasm for the Vishma Vaishnava Rajshava. If you go out into some foreign country where Hinduism is not the main religion, then they may ask you, who are you? What are you teaching? Oh, I'm teaching Vaishnavism. On what behalf? Oh, I'm teaching on behalf of my Gurudev. Who's your Gurudev? My Gurudev is the founder of this institution. Has this institution given you a written permit to represent it here? Notarized? Translated? Huh? No, I don't have that. Does your institution recognize what you're doing here? Most likely not. In other words, then you become a so-called offshoot, a so-called independent, and independent maybe not authorized. So that's why the legalities in this world, they produce this kind of demands on any type of religious activity. But when you go to the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, if you follow the Vedic precepts, if you accept the Guru Parampara, then you have no difficulty. The Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha will give you full support. Yes, he is a representative of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. He is a representative of the Guru Parampara. He is authorized to make a new parivar, a new family in Krishna consciousness. Plus, of course, there's tons of other benefits. Really, really, many, many benefits are there. Because when we are one family, then one mission, like for example, Srila Prabhupada, my Guru Deva, he has made the most fantastic books in the world. And these books, they can help the preaching of any mission. As a matter of fact, these books are, you see, even Modi distributes Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is when he visits other countries. So it is very good. Very, very good. If you can buy ISKCON books and distribute them, it's fantastic. Because they are the pure nectar of devotion of our Prabhupada, which empowered his entire mission. Some people may say, no, we don't want to sell books of ISKCON because then otherwise some of our people will find the address of ISKCON in there and then they may go and join ISKCON and not join us. But this is not so. Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha is very broad-minded. It's very universal. And if you give Prabhupada's books to somebody, you will see how much blessings are coming. But not only Prabhupada's books, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur books published by Mandala Media or this group or that group, all this is the opulence of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. Everything which provides, like when you go and you visit any place and there's a Gaudiya Math or there's a Gaudiya mission or there's an ISKCON center, you have a place where you can go, where the deities worship, where they distribute Mahaprasadam. So in other words, if you have an active consciousness of Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, all of a sudden you have a home in every city in the world. In ISKCON, people became life members because they were hoping, now I can go anywhere in the world and get a place to stay. But this is true and it's not true. It is true because it's not only ISKCON. You can go to any temple in the world if you say, Hare Krishna, can I stay here with the brahmacharis overnight? I'm a traveling pilgrim. I would say in 90% of the cases they would say yes. But you don't have your own room. You're not going to have a hotel facility. Nor should we look for hotel facilities. But in that sense, Prabhupada is right. He opened the door for all those who are devotees around the world. And as I say, not only in ISKCON centers, also in Gaudiya centers. Like you came here. This is your place. It is everywhere. In every Krishna temple, it's the servant of Krishna is always welcome. Otherwise, what kind of a family are we? Of course, Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha is the amazing feature which our Guru Devs have comprehensively described and which is now the great need of the day. Otherwise, how can you understand that there's hundreds of Gaudiya Vaishnava parivars opening around the world? Hundreds, not one or two or three. Hundreds of parivars are opening. And this is good. The more Vaishnava parivars exist, the better for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Never ever was the vision that there would be one institutional mission with an authoritative organizational management board. When I was still in ISKCON, it was like that. The GBC had to deal with issues they had no information about. Somewhere around the world, they didn't know the problems and they couldn't solve them either. So that is not very practical. Of course, the original GBC, that was different. The original GBC, which Prabhupada established, was that between 5 temples, they can pick one GBC. The 5 temple presidents, they will come together and say, we want this one to be our GBC. Then this one, the GBC, can go and meet the others and learn from them and interact with them. But if the 5 temples are not happy with that GBC, they immediately take him out and put another one. That was the original idea of Prabhupada for GBC. Unfortunately, they didn't practice this at all. And in this case, the GBC was just a connection to the international parivar, because Prabhupada's parivar was so huge. And maybe other parivars in the future, they will also become huge, who knows? But the principle is always the same. Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha is the organization which is not an organization as such, because it doesn't compete with the temples and their disciples and guru disciples. The Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha is a fraternity of all Vaishnavas sharing the responsibility to carry on what our Guru Varga stands for. A fraternity is the best explanation. And anybody who's a devotee can be part of that fraternity. There's no eagerness from establishing superiority and inferiority. No, it's a fraternity. But together we protect the ideal, the teachings of Jiva Goswamis. Together we establish the future of the thousands and thousands of parivars. And they can all proudly announce, we are members of the Vaishnava Association, the World Vaishnava Association. And from there they will get all the blessings and permits and everything. Of course, if somebody goes off the deep end and does things which are horrible in the name of Vaishnavas, the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha also can issue, we don't accept what you're doing. You are not member of Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. This is like the Acharya, or the Guru Varga Dignity Committee. So if somebody is really doing something wrong, we will not accept it. But this is for extraordinary cases, practically speaking. This is what came to my mind this morning, meditating about the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. This wonderful family provided to us by Srila Jiva Goswami, Rupa Sanatana Goswami Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because they had that organization already here. And that organization sent Baladeva Vidyabhushan to Jaipur to save the situation when the king of Jaipur took Radharani off the altar by the wrong influence he had received. But Baladeva Vidyabhushan brought Radharani back and gave the commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, Govinda Vasya. So, it's a very, and there's many examples in history. Ketuligram, all the devotees in Manipur, which came, how many people from Manipur came to Vrindavan? There's more than 50 Manipuri temples in Radhakunda and Vrindavan. Can you imagine the power of the preaching of Narottam Thakur? But they're not one institution. No, there are many groups of Vaishnavas. So it's natural. Vaishnavas need parivars. Without the parivar full of love and dynamic enthusiasm, things will simply not work out. And without the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajam, it will not be easy to understand how this mission will continue flourishing into the future. Any question? Commentary?
Who will support the running of Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Sabha?
The voluntary participation of those who feel they are part of it. It is all their enthusiasm and their specific donations.
All those who are affiliated with...
We have a bank account. People can donate if they like. And we have a treasurer, Raghunath. But also we don't have much expenditure. You know why? Because we are not doing what the missions do. We are not buying buildings. We are not providing guest houses.
Yes.
We are not even printing many books. So we have some books we can print. Nowadays you can get everything on PDF.
Yes.
So not even necessary to print much. So it's very interesting, you know. The internet has also changed many things in this world. So it also changed many things in the Vaishnava world. Like this class this morning, which I'm giving here, it is going on the World Vaishnava Association YouTube channel. I don't know who's going to look at it. Maybe somebody's going to look, somebody not going to look. Who can I tell? But it's there. It's recorded. So, yeah, the financing is a good question. We say that the WVA is everybody's baby. Now, Vishnu Maharaj, he organized the last big meeting in Chandigarh at his finance. So, if somebody has enthusiasm, then he will help. Our own mission, Vrinda Parivar, has donated lots of Lakshmi. The movement of Siddha Swarupananda, self-realization, identity, they have also donated to Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. When money is necessary, it will appear.
Yes.
That's a very good thing, because we don't need to accumulate, because everything any devotee of any parivar does, that is Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. All the wonderful things done in ISKCON, all part of Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. Sometimes people say, what, really? Well, isn't ISKCON one of the Gaudiya Maths? Isn't the Gaudiya Math directed by the different representatives of the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur pointed out. So, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada did whatever he did in the name of Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha. And so did the others. But at that time it was not very pronounced. Only after Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, then it got very clearly pronounced what it works, how does it look. And the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha was so well that when the Russian government wanted to stop the Hare Krishnas because they thought they were a religion coming from USA, they wanted to stop all influences from USA in Russia, then the Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha website proved that this is not from USA, this is all India. They're all Indian organizations, so then they were not prohibited. This is one of the many examples where Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsabha has actually shown what power it has. Unity is power. When we speak together, if all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas sent a letter to the government, please clean our roads more clearly. Our Vrindavan cannot look like it is now. Put attention to this. Oh, then the government would shake. All the Gaudiyas have said. No? Things like that. Unity gives strength. And actually, we want to have the strength to tell everybody, get out of Maya, chant Hare Krishna, become devotees. But this is only possible when the spark of bhakti has come into their heart, the seedling. Bhakti Lata Beach. Jai Radhe.
Pujari is not keeping well. Yesterday also he was